All right, so there I am. Pressing the Go Live button. And I think that I should be live now. So let me just double check that on my phone. YouTube, continuing liquid cooled build. Let me get volume. Double check that on my phone. 1, 2, 3. Liquid cooled build. Let me get volume. Double check that on my phone. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that actually looks good. So hello, I'm Josh, also known as Cpgeek, and you missed my last stream. I'm currently attempting to water cool my rig here. On the last stream, I got the CPU block installed. I got the GPU block installed, which are the two biggest components here. And I began trying to do the radiator, but unfortunately, I had to go to bed. It was 3 a.m. and it just wasn't working out for me. And I am now currently trying to figure out what orientation those radiators are supposed to go in. Yeah, so that's where I am. I will likely need to remove the hard drives from the system, which is fine. I've been shaking the system down for a while now, and I copied all of the relevant data from the hard drives that I've installed to the SSDs. But as you might be able to see from this camera shot here, wiring is a little bit of a mess, as you probably saw with my initial build. I don't really like these thick, flat cables that come from my power supply specifically. They're kind of a pain in the butt, so I need to work on flattening that out and rearranging things. In order to remove the hard drive caddy from the machine, I'm going to need to remove the power supply. That's one of the gotchas on this particular case. But it is a modular power supply, so I should be able to get everything out of there more or less okay. I'll just have to unplug all the cables from the power supply and plug everything all back in again. I have all the tools that I should need. This is just about time in terms of getting everything all set up. So that's pretty much the long and short of things. Let's see here. Just going to go ahead and share out one more link on my phone. Okay, make sure that. All right, so as I go ahead and do that, please note that all of the liquid cooling components I have linked down below. So if you are interested in any of this stuff, they are affiliate links. I do get a couple % back from all of the people who buy that stuff. If you would like to go ahead and contribute to this channel, I do have a donate link button. It's pretty much all the way at the bottom, and any amount would be great. If you'd like to contribute, I am definitely very happy about that. Thank you very much for anybody who would like to or has. Also, if you want to get a hold of me or want to see any of my other stuff or want to chat with the rest of the Cpgeek.org community, go on over to Cpgeek.org, obviously, and there you'll find links to the Cpgeek.org Discord. There's a Facebook group as well as my Twitter, which is just at Cpgeek.org, or sorry, at Cpgeek, and you can chat to me there. So continuing on, let's go ahead and switch views. Ugh, my hair is a mess, but you can ignore that for now. All right, so here's my big mess here. I'm going to go ahead and raise this up just a bit. And apparently, camera needs some work. There we go. All right, so this is what I'm battling with right now. This whole nest of cables. So I think right off the bat, while I'm thinking about removing the hard drives, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the power supply. Just these two screws back here. And that was under way too much stress. Shouldn't be under stress at all. So power supply is mostly out. Just need to unplug all the cables. And while I'm here, I'm also going to just go ahead and unscrew the screws that hold in the hard drive bay down below. Where the heck did my screwdriver go? Did manage to find my my electric one, but it's still got the finishing bit for the PETG tube that I was experimenting with previously. Not quite certain what happened to my my bit there. Oh, maybe I can just use this one. Hey, that works. And now we're cooking. All right, so there's my hard drive mount screws. Set this in my little screw holder here, makeshift. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to unplug the hard drives. I'll raise up the camera just a little bit more so y'all can see in the machine a little better. And yeah, I know I lost the camera again, but fix that in a sec. There we go. Cool. Now the hard drives get unplugged. I'm actually going to leave the data cables installed. Or if I want to put another hard drive up here or another SSD over here or something. These hard drive caddies are pretty nice. A little captain screw dealer, and they pop them out. When I'm done with my build here today, I'll go ahead and pull the hard drives out of the caddies and put the caddies in the box with the motherboard screws. Oh, wait, can this come out? No, there's a lip. Okay. I'm also going to go ahead and remove. No, I'm going to leave that hard drive in there. Make things easy. Maybe I can use some slow storage every so often. Okay, so that's out. Unplugging all of the plugs in the power supply so I can get that out of there. Actually, probably move it out just a little bit. Don't want to stretch these too much. You know what? I'm just going to undo my cable management, but there's a little bit more wiggle room. If I were smart, I would probably get custom sleeve cable extensions for all of these cables, or just maybe some custom cables, but those are kind of on the expensive, so I don't want to do that right this second. All right, there's the USB. And there's not much wiggle room here. Ah. All right. Modular power supply. All the plugs here, so can be easily removed. So the power supply side. Okay. Now that that's done, you should be able to just gently move all these cables up and out of the way. You're probably going to have to remanage all of this in a little while. Okay, these are up and out of the way. Now, move the drive bracket all the way to the end, out the power supply hole. So I've got the bracket. Now the entire basement is free, which is awesome for cable management as well as radiator room. But now I guess I'm going to go ahead and put the power supply back in. Could re-cable manage all of this stuff, but I really don't want to right now. I wish that I could access the plugs for the power supply while I have the power supply installed. That was one of the really cool things about my previous case. Made things getting in and out of there really, really easy. But unfortunately, these modern cases have these stupid power supply basements because apparently it's ugly to see a power supply and its associated cables. I don't really get that. So long as you're managing your cables properly, there shouldn't be an issue. But say la vie, that's just the way this case is designed. So moving on. That just means that I have to route all the cables and plug things in on the outside of the computer and then slide the power supply in, which is kind of a pain in the neck. So I'm going to try to arrange these as nicely as I can, keeping things flat, and re-cable manage the power cables, or at least the lower parts of these power cables. Open up these cable management holes here. All right, so that's here. I'm going to try to flatten things out while I'm here and maybe make the cable management just a little bit better than it was before. When I was installing cables previously in the original build video here, I did end up having to turn around some of these cables after installation, which wasn't a great way to go. Now that they're attached to the motherboard, I should be able to get things a little flatter than they had been previously. Okay. Where'd the other side go? Ah, there. Got under the lip of the case. Okay. You just don't want to be in that cable management grommet, or not grommet, that cable management strip. That's okay. They don't need to be managed quite there, as long as they're managed here. Okay, so that's nice and flat. That's 2 out of a million cables. Uh-oh. This is the HD audio plug. I think I unplugged it from the motherboard. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that back in. Hopefully I didn't rip off any pins as I was doing that. Won't see until I get the other side here. Okay, so that's out there, that's out there. This is the RGB and fan cable set. Those are managed separately down the front of the machine here. This is specifically for the lighting strips that I have. I'm going to unplug this temporarily. I'm going to need to reassign how this strip is in the case at all. That's the ultraviolet strip for some blacklight action later on. And so this is just power. I will arrange it in a minute. And that goes in there. It's powering SATA drive. This is SATA power that was powering those hard drives, but I don't think that I need that right now. So I'm going to set that aside. Now, these are all twisted up and arranged really badly. So I'm going to rearrange these, making them as flat as I can. This one's for this top hard drive. So I will arrange that. Oh, hello. I'm doing quite well. Sorry, I haven't been really paying attention to the chat here. Zero audio. Nope, that's a lie. I am transmitting and everything is good. Sorry, I was just checking the stream health at the same time, which is now saying excellent. I don't know why it dropped audio for a minute. But hello. Nice to see people showing up in the chat. That's cool. Thank you for joining in. Currently just trying to wrestle the power system here and manage things a little bit better than the cable spaghetti that you see here right now. Okay, that's SATA. I'm going to move the SATA to underneath. Under here, we can go through this manage hole, and then underneath these. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Goes right in that little notch. Now I'll go back up into this SSD. nice and managed. I'm going to raise that up just a bit. Make sure that it doesn't go in there as far as the power supply bay. All right. That's HD audio. Goes totally underneath. What is this? Oh, this is probably USB coming from the case. It's out from the hard drives. Leave those underneath. Okay, so that leaves these really hard to manage power cables. All right, so a lot of these are coming from this section, which is good. So we just got to flatten these out together and plug them in once they've been taken care of. Are these all the same type? Yes, these are video card ones. All right, so what I'm going to do is grab a twist tie, assuming my cat didn't walk off with all of them. That's been a problem as of late. Or to block things, just looking around for a twist tie. Ah. Actually, you know what? I have some cable ties that are better than that. It came with my motherboard even. Reaching over to the side here to get my motherboard box and see if I can locate some of those in a hurry. Okay, there's my old motherboard. Ha, cable ties. Aorus brand cable ties. Not that it really matters all that much, but I want to keep these flat against each other, which is the goal for management. Come on, stop getting hooked. There we go. And might need a couple of these just to wrangle. Things flattened together. I need one more. Now I have a couple of them, so I'm just going to go ahead and use one more. All right, so those are managed a little better. That barely reaches the outside of the case. It's just the way that things are going to be with those graphics card headers. I'm not sure how to make that better unless I come up from the very bottom. I'd rather not interfere with other PCIe things, so that's just going to be the best that I can do there. Now these power cables, this is the PCIe 24 pin. Slide that over just a bit. All right, so that's power for this. All right, so that's here. I just have that managed up here. Oh, I'm also powering the Corsair RGB stuff with that. That's why it's there. Okay, so this is actually managed fairly well if I can get that to lay flat. I'm going to undo this temporarily. There's the two other things that are powered up there, just so I can get these flatter. Okay, so this is the 24 pin together, and this is really annoying. I don't like the way this power supply handles these cables at all. It's like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that they split it up into strands with. Super, super annoying. See if I can manage this better though. And you can't really separate them because they're like interwoven into this weird setup here. I don't like that at all. Best I can do is try to flatten this out into a single cohesive cable, not unlike the ones for the video card. And try to stack them. For this, I want to keep things thin as I can to go through the cable management section, so I am going to use a twist tie on this instead of the cable management ties. Okay. That's pretty decent. Probably going to want one further on down the line too. This just becomes spaghetti as I work down the cable. So frustrating the way these are laid out. This go in here, turn around. All right, so let me see if I can grab another twist tie. I have one of those at my disposal. I try to save them, but as of late, my cats have been running away with them. Okay. All right. Cool. So the 24 pin should be properly managed at this point. Stick that out here. I know it's spaghetti on the end, but I don't think that there's much that I can. Oh, maybe I can. Even if it's not flat, I should still be able to manage that just a little further. I have another twist tie. I do. This is more messy. Definitely not going to get it flat, but at least they'll be together. Okay. It's manageable. Literally. All right, so now these are managed fine. That's managed fine. It's just power and reset switches. Oh, and front LED, I think. Yeah. Power LED plus and minus. I'm not certain exactly where those came from. I accidentally unplugged them, but I have my motherboard manual right next to me from doing this build previously. And CPU fan. Where is the front panel connector? Okay, there we are. All right, so power LED. It's on the reset switch side. And the 3 to the right. So reset switch side, 3 to the right. I guess it's in purple. Oh, okay. Oh, it's right next to the power switch. And plus is on the outside. Okay. Power positive. Okay, I think that's in there correctly. All right. And this is one of the fans. Get the fans and RGB stuff out of here because I'm going to have to rerun that in a minute anyway. All right, so that stuff can go over there. What is this? This looks important. Are you RGB as well? 3, so it's probably RGB. For what component? This is the RGB for my GPU block. And it's supposed to terminate with this guy that I didn't install yesterday. I just kind of ran it back here and left it. So this is going to go with the RGB stuff over here. So I'm going to run this up and over. Good. That goes in there. should also go in there. Okay. Yep. That'll go to the power supply as well. Okay. This power goes down and out. And connects to this and this, which is actually nicely managed already. That's just going to sit there, and I'm not going to bother with that cable management there. That's already in an appropriate place. This is going to sit flat just against the back of the case and get buried, because I shouldn't have to mess around with the front panel I/O for a really long time, I hope. What are you? Oh, you're going to the front of the case. All right. Let's just get managed down. Pull this out. Okay. With this and this, just go in here, get managed down and out of the way. That part's fine. This will go in here. This is fine in here. All right, so that's actually pretty decent cable management as far as that stuff goes. I've got this bundle of wires, this bundle of wires, and this bundle of wires that needs to be connected. For this one, I was premature on that, so I'm going to show this in here, being gentle. Okay. That'll manage just fine there. Goes a little flatter if I can. All right. As good as that's going to get. And this actually, I think I'm going to move out of that grommet, put this one in, so it has some place to go. Okay, that's good. So then this is a little freer. Over. Okay, that's good. And this can go down. USB for the power supply. And that's just the power supply. I think that's all the power management I can do right now as far as the power supply goes. Oh, missed this one. Not going to bother managing that there. Okay. Glancing over at chat. Doesn't look like there's any additional activity. That's cool. It says my audio is 0. I'm going to have a quick listen on my phone here. All right, so that actually looks good. So hello, I'm Josh, also known as Cpgeek. Sounds like things are okay. Well, if I'm having audio problems, hopefully somebody will let me know. Or I'll find out when I play back the stream. Okay, let's see what we can do about reinstalling the power supply, getting all this stuff set back up. The whole point in that was so that I'd have enough room in order to move around these radiators. Okay, there's USB. Water cooling things. All right, so start plugging things in where they can go. Okay, this is the 12-pin PC power connector. Go here. And 24-pin. That's annoying. But I think I'll put that one in last. Oop, USB unplugged itself. Okay. Yes, I don't want to forget to. What is that? There's a little adhesive foot thing. Oh, it's the power supply mount. Okay, there's one, there's another. Oh, there's twist ties on the bottom of this too. Ah, found where it came from. Rubber power supply mount thingy popped off. Oh, looks like I lost another one too. Well, that's a shame. Wish these would attach better. Still in the bottom of my power supply. Nope, nowhere to be seen. Got 3 out of 4 of them. Just looking to see if it dropped or there's any sign of it. Doesn't look that way. So what I'm going to do is I have these they're not adhesive. I have these fan grommet things that are vibration reducers that I didn't end up using because the fans that I have. How do I adhere? You know what? For now, I'm just going to YOLO it. There's enough support for the power supply that it's not a big deal. Didn't want to scratch that up if I can, but I don't think it'll be a big problem. Actually, on second thought, I'm going to move the 24 pin down to the very bottom. That'll give me room to plug in the PCIe 3s once the, or PCIe power connectors once I put the power supply into the machine without causing problems. So that's a 3 pin. All right, so let's flip that over. That'll go there. So I'll leave the 3 4 pin or 8 pins on top there, free for the video card ones. This is Molex and is necessary. Where am I going to put this? All right, so this is going to go at the bottom. And this, I don't think that I need to install that right now. But this is definitely something that I need in order to do the pump and the RGB. And I don't think I have another one here. So it's got to get under here, definitely. I think I'll just add that on last then, considering it can leave right on top down below in the basement there. All right, so this I guess the 24 pin is next. Do the little one. Actually, let's do the big one and then the little one. Hang on for just a couple of moments. Looks like I'm getting a call. Well, looks like that was the wrong number. Sorry about the interruption. All right, so where was I? Big part of the 24 pin power connector. right, that's in there. Now the smaller bit. Okay, that's in there. Now for PCI connectors. These I'm probably going to have to do when the power supply is in the system. No. I'm going to have to stress them, put them right on the edge. All right, so lift up the power supply, the shortest one, and try to connect it. This is super annoying. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it with the power supply in the system. All right, so let's go ahead and mount power supply. It's designed to mount the computer flat up and down. Let me go ahead and change that orientation. Make things a little easier. Drop the power cable. Okay. You can see clearly. All right, so now slide that over, screw that in. Can't get that lined up. Just too much play. There we go. I wish that this bracket were a little more precise with how things line up. Okay. Now I probably just made it impossible to actually plug the things in that I'm trying to plug in, huh? All right. Try again. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get in there. Let's unmount this again. Pull it out some of the way. Oh, I see the magic. If we tilt it outward, can I get it over the lip? No. It doesn't go over the lip. Okay. All right. Barely comes to the outside of the case. I don't want to yank on these too much. They're just plain short. There's stuff in the way here. and this grommet is probably too far away. Okay. How am I going to do this? How do I do this to begin with? I'm going to ruin that adhesive. All right, so this. Oh, okay. So like this. 1, 2, 3. Let's do the longest on the outside. And I may have broken the clip. Yeah, I just broke the clip off of one of my PCIe connectors. I'm going to have to be careful with that. You know what? I'm going to undo this for now. Get a little bit more play in those cables. Hopefully be able to wrangle them a little easier. All right, so okay. Longest one's in, although the longest one is the one without the clip, so I've got to be careful that that doesn't pop free. That could have catastrophic results. Okay, next longest is this one. Okay, that's in. And then shortest one goes here. Where is that going in? That's not the correct place to plug this in. Has to be. There we go. Took me forever just to click that in. Okay. Is that all the power runs? I think it is. About okay. And of course, the Molex. I'm going to plug that in. I can't even see where it would plug in. Okay, light. There it is. Oh, that's those. There's the one I'm trying to plug in. Oh. All right, I'm going to show connectors down here for now. That's just fine. Okay, I've identified one of the connections. Goes down. It is awful not being able to plug in these modular connections with the power supply installed. It's absolutely awful. And my hand doesn't go in there. How am I going to do this? Now I'm kind of thinking I should have just left this stuff alone. Oh. Doing this all wrong. I knew there had to be something to it. There are a few ones across the top there that are of the appropriate type that I did not identify previously. I was trying to get to one that was underneath everything, and that was bad. Live and learn. All right, slide the power supply in. lock it down. Power is run. Need to smooth this out just a little bit more. Okay, and then get this power connector out so it's hanging so that I can install the radiator in a little bit, or not the radiator, the pump res a little bit. It's going to go in this section here. That's not going to close. How the hell did I have this before? Oh, like that. Okay, so that clip crosses over there. Not the best solution, but it's the one that works for now. Okay, now that we're all set with all of that foolishness, these can hang. I'll set up the RGB power and stuff in a minute. But first off, let's go ahead and take the top of this off. I need to reverse the orientation of these radiators, which means undoing all of the work that I did for mounting the radiators in my previous video. All right, so this comes around. Now, see, I've got my water block mounted on my graphics card. In the interim, I also have the water block mounted on the CPU as well. Let's lower this down here so you can get a better view. There we go. Okay, so the trouble I'm having right now is in this section. I need to be able to get tubes in this section here and get tubes into this section here. But the way that I've set this up right now is backwards. I wanted the tubes to come from here and go down and through here and then to the pump res and then up to here. But that's not going to work in this configuration because you can't access these tubes, these tube fittings here. So this right here is the problem. This is where the tube goes in, and there isn't enough room for even a fitting to get in there. Yeah, there's no way to get a tube in and around there. So this has got to get flipped upside down, and this has got to get flipped around. So first things first, this case is cool because this whole top portion can be removed. Okay. And with that set, let's just pull these back through. Okay. And slide this back. Pull all these screws out. This time at least I can use the electric screwdriver. That's a plus. Note that these are in fact the longest screws that come with the radiator, because they have to go through the case and the fans and go into the appropriate holes in the radiator. The longest screws are not specifically for mounting fans to the radiator. There are some slightly shorter screws for that, if that's the way you want to do it. If you wanted to mount the radiator directly to the outside here, which is definitely a possibility. But I want this RGB fan awesomeness to go to the outside of the case so it can actually be seen at least as much as possible. Hard to see through all the filters and stuff, but I'd rather have the filters in place and see the RGB a little bit than not be able to get any RGB on the outside, especially in the way that I like to use the RGB. And the way I had been setting up the RGB so far is I used the front RGB for the graphics card temperature monitoring and the top for the CPU temperature monitoring. So it would go between green to yellow to red as temperatures increase. I'm just going to set this in here. I'm not going to screw it down for now. So it was helpful, handy to do that. I also have a cool animated thing that basically spun around spun a blue thing around each one of the fans that went up and back, kind of in a cool animated thing. All right, so radiator completely detached. So we're going to flip this so that tubes here are on this side, facing down like this. So we're going to use the other side. And then making sure that the fans are pointed in the direction that we want. The blades spin this way and go up because we're exhausting hot air from the case. We want to make sure that the cables are toward the rear. I'm just going to go ahead and place them all loosely over where the fan hole should be. As far as the screw holes, that is. Keeping the cables out of the way, hopefully. Yeah. I'm just going to pin these in place. One screw. Actually, I'll just drop in all the screws. All right. Okay. So I totally did this wrong, and I very well could have damaged my radiator if I did that. Maybe. These screws need to come out, and I need to put the bracket back on these before these screws go in. Losing it. So I put in all the screws before I put the case bracket on top, which is a necessary step. So get those roughed up to the holes. And then this has to go here. Trying to line up all the holes roughly. Then screws go in, because this is what holds the radiator and radiator fans to the case. I'm going to go ahead and go opposite corners so this doesn't rotate, and pin them in the four corners. So at least the fans are lined up. If not, the radiator holds. We'll keep that in a couple of seconds. All right, now radiator holes. Oh, that's actually good. Let me go ahead and do the four on the outside. And I'm not tightening these all the way down. I want this to be able to slide forward and backward to reposition the radiator once it's inside the case. So, as you see, just like this. All right, so those four pinned. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these gently. Just sticking these in the appropriate holes. All right, and I'll lock them all down. Well, not all the way, just enough so that it's in the radiator. It needs to be in there so they stop spinning freely, but not tight. If I go too far, I might just walk them back a little bit. Okay. Looks like all these screws why isn't this going in all the way? There's just too much play on that end. Well, I don't want to break anything, and hanging loose like that is better than over tightening. I'm just gonna not torque them down, but just so they stop. This doesn't have very much torque. Still a lot of play in the corners, but now it doesn't move. I'm gonna loosen these just a bit by hand, quarter turn. It's not in there at all. All right, it can be moved with semi-difficulty. That should be plenty. Okay, now, I said this in my previous video, but I like to intertwine twisting these together for each particular fan so I can identify what fan they belong to. So I'm just zoom out some. So just twisting these here so that I can identify what fan is what. Slide them through the grommet. Now these RGB cables are long enough, not too long, but they are long enough. Fan and RGB cables. So I applaud Corsair on giving enough length to actually make this work. Middle fan, twist, twist, twist. Okay. I'm keeping them roughly in that order as I drape them out the back so I can understand what plugs into what. If I need to rearrange things later on, I can, but I prefer to not have to do that. Okay, so that's the middle. Okay. And one last, ow. Hurt my finger on one of the motherboard pins. There's a header, oh, it's RGB header, where these would go if I weren't using fan controller. Okay, that part's good. And then this is RGB for my CPU block. I'm gonna slide that up here. Be the one that's not twisted together. And then yeah, slide that back until it touches the rear fan. That'll be its final home. I hope. Assuming I've lined everything up correctly. I wish that I could bring these 3 fans forward a little bit for the RGB, but I don't think that will ever happen. Well, maybe a little bit. Not by that much, though. All right, so now I can go ahead and lock this top portion down. All right. Just checking the cables in the back here, making sure everything's coming out the back side okay. It looks like some of these got wrapped around the ram. I'm going to have to remove this one more time. One of the cables got wrapped around my ram and I didn't notice. And out the back. All right, so all that there. Okay, so I did not lose the fitment from last time. It still just clears the ram. So everything is looking great there. All the cables are routed where they need to go out the back. Okay. Now, these fans are just sitting here. So I didn't drop them down when I was doing the trial fit, so that I could very easily remove them. I didn't put all the screws in the first time. So this reader needs to turn upside down. So I'm going to lift this whole thing up just a little bit so I can access the bottom screws. All right, so all the screws are loose. Should be able to remove them. All right, so there's those 4 screws. Slide the radiator out. And so, okay. Now, radiator needs to get turned upside down so that these ports are on the bottom. I'll do that. Now, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to find out what orientation was appropriate for these fans. I did get it right the first time. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and put those 4 screws back in that I had there before, just so I can get a feel for how this is going to look when mounted. Which is why I only had those screws in that I did previously. Okay, so grabbing onto the tanks. This goes in here. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. Just doing the opposite corners to pin it in place for a moment. Okay. These. I'm not torquing them all the way down right now because I need to get other fans in place. But I just want to see how that works. And slide it down into place. It should be, about there, actually. I think that works. Now, fitment of the tubes, which is what I'm looking at now. So these tubes are going to come from the very bottom up into the reservoir. And while I'm at this stage, I'm just going to get the reservoir and do a test fit. So this is the reservoir, its accoutrements. Oh, camera went out. There we go. Magically, the reservoir appears. Okay. So pop the reservoir out. Get this board out of here. All right, so the reservoir drops in here. There we go. And then I can either mount it to the radiator directly. Okay, that's the front. So I can either mount it to the radiator directly, like this, which doesn't give me much room at all for the tubes. Or I could mount it to the bottom. Which would also work. But if I mount it to the bottom, I don't have any vertical orientation room. And kind of short. So I'm just going to try setting it on the bottom of the case here. Yeah, that is too low to be of any use. I want it to be here, maybe? These tubing runs are going to be troublesome. I can already tell. While I'm here, I'm going to just temporarily install the mount for the radiator onto mount for the reservoir onto the reservoir. Words are hard. One, 2, 3. Four. Okay, so comes from underneath. The other way to do it is I can mount it to this. I just thought of that. That might just work. Especially if I can mount this plate on the back here, like this. Like this, or horizontal positioning. I think that might be able to work. So, like, probably here-ish. And then that would enable me to bring the tubes up. Okay, so if that were sitting on there like that, all the way over here, I can then take those tubes up and in here, and that tube will run here. Which is not quite in line, which is a little annoying. But I can worry about that bend later, and I can probably bend it below the line of sight. And if I raise this high enough, I can put that panel back in place too. Make things look a little neater. Although, if I set it here, that mount, did I do the same thing? I think so. I'm going to go ahead and try that. Instead of taking off this back panel, I'm going to try mounting it onto the radiator first. Actually, you know what? I've been streaming for quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. So please hang in there, and I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, here I am. Hello, Bela Rose. So I know that you just joined, more or less. I'm not quite sure when that was. I wish there were timestamps in live chat. But I've been trying to get things a little bit more organized in terms of rerouting power and whatnot, so things are a little bit easier to use. I was just test fitting my pump reservoir, but it is almost dinner time, and I'm going to be taking a kind of a longer break, maybe an hour or so. And I will go ahead and start back on this in a little while. I will go ahead and put out a link in the Facebook group. Wow, words are hard. So Facebook group, and I'll go ahead and tweet it out. And if y'all want to join up a little later while I continue this mess, please make sure to get subscribed, click the bell so you'll be notified on YouTube if you decide to do that. And I will be back a little later this evening. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and eat some dinner with my family and hopefully visit with my wife a bit before she has to go to bed, as she's had some really long days. So thank you for tuning in as you have, and part 3 will come definitely this evening. I do need to work on this more tonight, and that'll be like I said, an hour or two, that kind of thing. I'll probably eat a thing, visit, maybe watch a show. I don't know. I need a break from this. I've been at it for let's see, 2 hours now. So a little bit of a break will do me good. Thank you for tuning in. Again, if you are interested in contributing to the channel at all, there is a donate link in the bottom. Any bit of support that you can give is definitely appreciated. All of the links to the water cooling gear that I'm using are down below. They were affiliate links, so I do get a couple % back when you do use those, and I'm appreciative of that as well. You can find me at Cpgeek.org, where you'll also find my Twitter at Cpgeek, the Discord for the community here, as well as the Facebook group. So go ahead and click those links, and I will be back in a couple of hours.